What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. I did a video yesterday on Groundfloor and I asked if you guys would be interested in seeing how I do my due diligence when it comes to funding these loans. I myself have I did check before I did this, around $20,000 in real estate REITs, so I'm no stranger to making money passively with real estate, but this is kind of a different way of doing it for me. However, I did want to say right off the bat, the only thing that matters is you. If you're comfortable and confident in your investment, that's all that really matters, and don't let anyone ever tell you any different. But you should always do a little bit due diligence. So I'm going to walk you through what I do with this first property at 509 Thoreau Lane in Jonesboro, Georgia. So first thing I like to look at here is the summary. What is it? This is a new construction. Is it a flip? Is it a rehab? Is it a renovate? Right? We know they're building a house. Remember, that's going to come into play a little later. Loan position is first lien, which basically means if they default, foreclose, you're going to be the first to get paid. If you're really worried about that, stay away from judicial states and take a good look at the property. You can also see the term is a year, 10%. But when you're thinking about that property, I want you to go over to Google, do this sky view, and just do a visual check, right? Is this a neighborhood that looks like there's been a lot of financial duress, empty lots, foreclosures? In this case, absolutely not. Go to the street view and picture that house on this street, right? And ask yourself, is this going to be the nicest house in the neighborhood? Probably not. It blends right in. I always like to look at cars, yards. Are the shrubs and trees trimmed? Generally, that means it's a well-kept neighborhood. It's going to command more of a value. So in this case, I would say yes. Beautiful neighborhood here, by the way. I could absolutely see that house being in this neighborhood. Now, I couldn't see that house in Center City, Philadelphia, because there's no room, right? And it just would not match. So a lot of times you're going to be able to look at the street level and the sky view and know right away if this is going to be a fit or not. Now, once you've determined it is or isn't, you can then decide if you want to invest or not. But I always like to take a little bit of an extra step. You can go to Redfin, Zillow, wherever you want, and you can determine what are the houses in that area selling for. And I like when they compare them by searching the address. It'll show you, hey, this is the larger lot. This is a finished basement. It goes through what's better and sometimes what's worse. You're not always going to find it on the street that you're in, but you're generally going to find it in the same city. So in this case, 700 to 500, I feel like we're in this area that they're looking at. When we go back to the Borough Summary, the one thing that concerns me is, if you remember, this was a new build, and it does not appear that this actual company has done anything other than a fix and flip. So that's a big difference, especially when you go back. We're going to talk in a minute how much money they're making. So if you're confident with the builder, if you're confident with where the property is and the location is set, you can look at the valuation and determine if it's in line with what you've thought up. So to me, when they have an independent appraisal of $650,000, yeah, I go back. Neighborhood looked good. House looked like it could definitely belong there. There were houses going for a little bit less. There were definitely houses going for more. So far, everything seems fine, other than the fact that I might not have all the confidence in this builder. So when we go over and we take a look at the actual financial overview, you can see they've put skin in the game. The builder has put up $73,000, and they are going to look to make $122,000. So these numbers here are not that arbitrary. So you can conclude that by doing this, they're roughly going to make $50,000. That's a good amount of money for them to make on a home. Now, if these numbers were further apart and they were only going to make, say, $10,000, well, that doesn't leave them a lot of wiggle room, and sometimes I like to personally kind of stay away from those. I more so don't like to go to ones if they have no skin in the game. So they're not putting any money forward. They're 100% dependent on the loan, and then they're just making money kind of hand over fist. So keep those things in mind. When you're looking at the grade factors, that gives them the borrower commitment number 1, the borrower experience, they rank number 5, but again, unless they know something I don't, they're giving the location a 4 out of 8. Again, I think that varies. A house like that is probably always going to sell, especially if it has any type of water view. skin in the game. Again, I think more you're seeing the difference between the amount they put up to the total value. You know, they really only put up about 1/8 of the value. The quality evaluation gets 4 of 4, and the loan to ARV gets 4 out of 10. So basically kind of goes back to what we talked about with the skin in the game. They've put up a good bit, but it's really nowhere near what they stand to make or what the actual cost of the final home would be. So I'm not going to say that I would definitely not invest in this. I would probably want to go back and look at what that builder did before and see if I can't look at the quality of their work. I think it's quite a jump to go from doing a fix and flip to doing a brand new home, especially if it's only their second project. But with that said, I will say I've never really had a lot of luck Googling the actual project managers in these cases and seeing if I can find any additional information. I might, in a situation like this, before I put, $2,000-$3,000 toward this actual loan. So that's probably the only thing, if I was going to do it, that would stand in my way. I would want to go try to get more information from the actual person you're lending to. But the reason I wouldn't include that in a video like this is, from my experience, it's just something that's next to impossible to do. You just very rarely find that actual builder. It's usually just cited as someone's name as an LLC, and they probably do that to prevent you from going in and looking at it. But I think if you follow kind of that metric, looking at the property, looking at what they're trying to do, going out and getting a lay of the land, since in many cases you're going to be very much far away from these, trying to envision the property there, getting an idea for what houses in that area are worth, and then making an assessment based on all that. Finally, at that point, going over and looking at these numbers, that's what's really worked for me. I found that if I look at these numbers first and then take these numbers out into the market, I start to kind of skew things and make things work in a way they might not. But if I come to this page and I already have everything in my mind of the house fits there, what the property's worth in the area, and how much I think they're going to get away with in terms of the financial overview, because sometimes I've found that the evaluations that Groundfloor gives may be a bit on the high side. That's when I know that I'm making the best decision. Get all your information up front and then go and look at the loan and decide from there. Don't let this be the first thing that dictates to you whether you want to become involved. You should have all the knowledge long before you get to these grade factors. Love to know if you guys have a different way of doing this. You have any suggestions? You think I could do something better? You've had better success trying to find some of these builders? Other than that, I appreciate you watching this video, and I will be back in the week with more commentary.